Hello, everyone, and welcome to Truly Bedrock Season 4. This is episode 45. How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. In the last episode, we were working on a Magma Cube farm. We also did a bunch of other things, like went over to our industrial area and noticed there was a little bit of issue. Hopefully that will be fixed and fixed soon. We did do the sacrifice to the world builders. Craziness ensued. But I did do a bunch of AFKing over here at the Magma Cube farm, and this thing was working really, really well for a little while. I do have the issue with the Magma Cube still spawning on top, but eventually they do pick a direction and despawn. But what I was noticing is that after maybe 40 minutes or so of AFK, which is all I was kind of limiting myself in the episode, these guys would stop spawning in here and there would be nothing spawning on the platform. I would then run down the elevator, go check my items, pop back up, and they would spawn. So as you can see, we've got the little X-ray pack that we have, and I was looking around, and sure enough, right over there where those magma blocks are, right there was actually a cave. There's another one back there, but I'm not quite loading that one in. So I filled it all in, and now this thing seems to be working very, very well. As I say that, the magma cube stops spawning. But there is nothing else spawning anywhere in the world that we can see. Oh, there they go. So that is excellent. And that is the entirety of me turning this pack on. It is just for this, making sure that things are good to go, because one little issue I had about a dozen magma cubes over there, I swear. Now that we've got the spawning issue fixed, and I actually had to go over, there was like a little thing of glowstone right here. The magma spawned in that. Yep. Anyway, let's check and see what we got. I went AFK for a little while wanting a double chest worth of slime, so hopefully the chest is full. Oh, yes. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Okay. We're gonna need more shulkers. Wow. Um, yeah, so to put it rates, put numbers on this, rates for you guys so you know what this thing is producing, it's about 18 stacks every hour. Now, by 18 stacks an hour, I mean 18 stacks of green, yellow, and purple. So that is 36 plus 18, that's 54, if my math is correct. 54 stacks of Froglights an hour. This farm is absolutely insane. Now, when I went to, or went in the episode, it's early. Look, it's like 3 a.m., all right? Bear with me. In the last episode, when I went to explain all the specifics of this farm and started breaking down everything that we were doing, I got a little sidetracked because of the lost mob farm and things like that. The original concept for this farm was my idea, but when I went to do some research so that I wouldn't run into the same issues I had with the Guardian farm, I actually came across a concept farm done by Mr. Groovaguy. So, I took his farm idea, and we just ran with it. Nope. Give me the... Give it... There we go. So, powered with that knowledge and that idea, we went to creative and we tweaked the farm and made this farm here. So if you're going to make this farm yourself, I highly suggest and highly recommend you have an X-ray pack. And let me know. Let me know if you guys want me to do a tutorial on this. It's pretty basic collection system. Frogs. Powdered snow, iron golem, platform, AFK platform. But let me know nonetheless. We can throw together some kind of something. I'm gonna spend the next 20 minutes collecting Froglights. Well, this is what I ended up with. We have 5 full shulkers of the green plus 2 stacks and 47. The yellow we have just shy, a couple stacks shy of 5 boxes, and the purple we have even less. So that's what's going on here, but we do have some bits. So let's see, did we make any sales? We did. Looks like we have sold 3 of every kind. Not bad. Not bad at all. What I think I want to do is I think I want to make like a little pile. I'm thinking... Thinking something like this. And then taking the purple shulker boxes I have, and setting these guys up. Like one here, maybe one like that. I don't know. This is maybe just like that. Where is the box? Aha. So I'm gonna take these out. I'm gonna take the purple out. We're gonna put it in here. I think that'll work. Something like that. And then we'll do the same thing for the yellow. So I'm thinking... maybe... like that? And then... pull that guy out. Like that. We'll move our sign, and then we'll do our final Froglight adventure right here. And we can go ahead and pull this out, as well as putting in the last 2 stacks that we have. So if we do... something like this. Think that'll work? Ah, yes. And then we can reset up our sign. We will put a diamond a stack. Ooh, can... Yeah. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I think this will work. We got 1 diamond a stack for Froglights. There are a ton here for people to grab. I've got basically 6 shulker boxes worth. There is 4 full shulker boxes, so 2 double chests, and then some. Yeah, hopefully people will buy them. We have made 8 diamonds, which is good. And I'm going to check the rest of the shops before I get on with today's projects. Yeah, we sold some stuff. 53 diamonds. That's nice because we were dead broke. I'm just hoping that the sacrifice was worth it and that we do make... we do make our... I'm sorry, we appeased the world builders and they will put our stuff back. That's what I'm hoping. Anyway, time for us to move on from this project, and I need to get like these two combined. We're gonna do a little bit of shuffle and a little bit of cleanup of things, and get on with what I actually wanted to do today. Now, what I want to do today is I want to finish up the storage system over at the Guardian Farm, which is going to require us to take on this Guardian Farm that's over by the mob farm. Doesn't look like it's been fixed yet. Hopefully it will be soon. This is just like a day, not even a day after we sacked all the diamonds. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is, of course, we're going to equip our chest plate. We have this, and we are going to take on the Guardian, or the Elder Guardians that are in this temple now. I believe, from what I can see, we're on the back side of the temple, so there's an Elder Guardian at the top, and there's one at the end of each wing. If you want to cheese these things relatively quickly. Ours is going to be less quick now, which is fine. I do have some water breathing potions, and I do have some buckets of milk, so let's see how far we can get. Okay. Without having to do too much mining. It doesn't... Oh, this one is not friendly at all. We got a way up there, but and a way up here. Okay. Okay, this takes us to the first Guardian, which is right here. Which is awesome, because we can take this back channel here all the way around to the other side and eventually get to the other Elder Guardian. I've torn apart a lot of these ocean monuments before, so I know them pretty well. There's only like 4 or 5 different layouts. The rooms, as far as the rooms are concerned, these guys are normally always in the same spot though. There we go. That's 2 down and 1 to go. So the last one is going to be at the very top of the ocean monument. This is the 2nd floor here. If we pay attention, this is the 3rd floor. On the back side, I don't think there's actually a way to get in to where we need to. So with the block being missing right here, that doesn't help us. This is what we need. Ooh, that is exactly what we need. Sponge room. Here we go. Another sponge room. That's good. Somewhere there should be an entrance right here. That takes us all the way up to the top. And this is normally where the 3rd Elder Guardian is, but just like last time, it looks like there isn't one. So what we can do is we can kind of dig through where these dark prismarine are, is typically where your sponge rooms will be, if you have a back-to-back prismarine like that. And we're just going to take all the sponges. Nice. Oh, I am silly. I forgot that we get rid of water breathing with the milk. There is potential that other areas of this ocean monument have sponge, but typically it's up here. Yeah, hi. And I think that's all we're going to get. Swimming around this outside is good. There's no dark prismarine, but right here, as you can see. And I think, yeah, I think that's it for sponge rooms. We're going to check the bottom floor, which we're on. I don't think that we're going to have the same luxuries. But I will steal that. You know what? That gives us over a stack of sponges, which is great. I guess that we'll take that. So now what I need to do is go over to the other one where our Guardian farm is and go to the top, start at the top, and start working my way down as far as dismantling. It's easier to work your way top to the bottom. I actually need to go to the nether and dry my sponges as well. So a few little things to do, and, you know, I've got 5 or so sponges in my ender chest, which is going to make what we're doing a little bit easier. So my plan, or at least the idea that I've had for a while, is utilizing the center of the ocean monument, being able to go back into this area over here and just have a storage system I thought could be really, really cool. A couple of things it'll be neat to do, and it'll be kind of a throwback to the Season 1 base. Now, I've already cleared out the top portion, so what I need to do now is I need to go around here and start clearing out this outside piece. We need to fill in a couple of things like this that are going to prevent the sponge action from happening nicely, like any holes. So we can get all of our water drained out of this thing nice and easy. Like this right here is going to cause some severe issues. But not too bad. There we go. So now the thing is, it's time to sponge this area up. And we got to do it kind of fast. And it gets to be a little bit tricky. The good news is this can be done, and it can be done relatively easy. Yep. So we're gonna go floor by floor and do this, and it's not too bad until we get to the next couple of layers. That's where it starts to get really kind of tricky. Oh, but I've done so much of this, and it's been a while. But I still know what I'm doing. So we're gonna take care of it. Yeah, sure. And we will definitely have to do a sponge drying session once we get this floor all cleared out. But I'm not too terribly worried. Let's carry on. It really does start to open up when you get a couple of floors clear and start clearing out things. We can take all of these sea lanterns out. Not that, though. And that will obviously darken the area up, but it'll give us that grand open feel like we had, again, in our Season 1 base. Now, our Season 1 base, for those that didn't see it or don't know what I'm talking about, we actually lived in an ocean monument, but it was special. It was not an ocean monument that was generated and we just kind of took over. No, it was one that I built block for block by hand, and I actually separated it because this is the center of the monument and you can see it's an even number. I actually widened mine by a block. This way I had a central point. So it was pretty nice. It was cool. I'm not going to do crazy extravagant things in this ocean monument. We're just opening it up to have a grand storage room. It's kind of weird, but it's what I wanted to do. It was the first idea that came to mind, and it's been a while, like I said, since I've messed with monuments, draining them, farming them, all those things. So we're going to clean up our sponges, and we're going to get to chopping the next layer down, which should be relatively easy. It's when we get into the last little bit that it's going to take a while. This only took like 20 minutes. Yep. And keep falling down, but I did make myself a couple of stairs to get back up. So these last couple of sea lanterns need to go, and then start chopping the floor out. I always thought this part was really neat when tearing down an ocean monument, seeing the different layouts of the different floors and stuff, and getting this thing cleaned up. Now, we've got a long way to go. I did hook up a beacon because this went so much faster with the beacon, but it looks cool. I think so anyway. So we're gaining a bunch of Prismarine and stuff from mining this down. We're getting a little bit of glass because I don't need this glass necessarily if we're going to, what do you call it? If we're gonna drain the monument, we don't need it. It is just to block off the water, spawn portion that, the Guardians spawn in. Jeez. So, with that being said, what I'm going to do is I got to jump out of here and actually clean out my inventory, but we've only got 2 more floors to do. And so far, so good with the Ocean Monument. I do have some stuff that we need to clean up as well. So I want to get all that done today. I want to get the Ocean Monument opened up and drained as best we can. And get the bits and stuff that we have laying everywhere sorted out, disposed of if we don't need it, like rotten flesh and things. So we've got a long project ahead of us, but this is always my favorite, like I said, seeing this. So time to get started. This room right here is going to be a pain to drain because it is the room with the where the gold was. Yep. So I'm gonna probably start over here. Getting a lot of Season 1 vibes here. But we do have the entirety of the Ocean Monument gutted. Yep. All the chambers, all the areas. We have the little house that we had our farm in. I had to do some maintenance on the farm. I had to repair my pickaxe here. And when I turn these things on to start killing these guys, which it looks like it's happening again, the tridents have fallen. That one's stuck in the glass. That one's stuck in the glass. So we're having some issues there. Yep, we'll have to address those issues soon. But you're probably wondering why. Why do we need all this space? And the answer is we don't. I missed 3 blocks. Boop, boop. Not that one. And boop. We really don't need all this space, but what I have in mind, I have this grand master plan, and it's been ever developing since we started doing the Guardian farm, and that grand master plan involves quite a large area. If I can get the concept working, and if I can do what I want to do. So there's that, and we're going to need a rather large area. I think it's going to be something like 16, 17 blocks long and like 14 blocks tall for our collection system. So, with that in mind, yeah, we got to do something different with our item collection and trident killers here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to creative and start looking at what I want to do and see if we can't get a concept put down. But before we do that, if you wanted to take on one of these monuments yourself and tear it apart like I did, it took me about 3-4 hours after I set up the beacon. We did get ourselves a substantial amount of Prismarine bits, though. That's all of the Prismarine we got. We got a decent little bit of Dark Prismarine, and we got a lot of Prismarine bricks. We did have ourselves a fair amount of sea lanterns, and of course I had to go dry sponges and things like that. Not a big deal. Unfortunately, ocean monuments are still the same as they've ever been. When they were first introduced into the game, it used to be within the bounding boxes of the Ocean Monument, no mobs outside of slimes. If they were in a slime chunk, bats and guardians would spawn. As it seems, we have plenty of mobs spawning, and you saw that I had to light this area up because we did have regular, good old-fashioned Minecraft mobs spawning in here. So I just laid out a little bit of a pattern. We haven't had any issues. But anyway, we got the Ocean Monument gutted. Now it is time for us to lay down a idea or see if we can get it working. So after about an hour and a half worth of messing around, I've come up with this system here. I did tweet a picture when I was in the process of building this, and essentially what I wanted to do is have a room that I could go into and do some auto crafting. Now, originally, my idea was we were going to have about 4 chests of Prismarine crystals and like 6 chests of Prismarine shards. And the Prismarine shards, we were going to come and, you know, have a chest set up above our head. Something like this, full of Prismarine. And then we could just break the chest and then grab the crafting table and we could bulk craft the items that we wanted as far as Prismarine bricks. The regular Prismarine, but the only thing that's going to be a little bit out of our wheelhouse, just because we need to get ink sacks over, is going to be the dark Prismarine. We'll have to get those from the ink farm and bring them over and do our crafting in that manner. But this is what I've come up with, this monstrosity of redstone and things and stuff. So I've simulated an item collection here, using hoppers in a water line. That is fine. We have items inside of these chests that we've been actually testing. And I will actually have another couple of chests probably on this end for the fish and the guardian heads. But essentially what we have is, if we turn our game mode to survival, what we can do is we can come in this little room. We have 2 levers here. This one turns on the Prismarine shards. This one turns on the Prismarine crystals. So we can turn on crystals and shards. We can come in here. We can type in sea lantern. We can hit our auto clicker. And right now I'm holding down my shift key. And my auto clicker is doing the work. Despite it being a little noisy, we should essentially be able to just AFK craft sea lanterns. I have created an auto crafting system utilizing Minecraft Bedrock mechanics and an auto clicker. I think this is a pretty neat system. Let me turn off my auto clicker. That was a little bit annoying. So the other thing that we can do is we can turn on just this guy, right? So if we turned on just this system here, and we looked up Prismarine bricks, we could do the same thing, hit our auto clicker, and just be shift clicking here. We do have to pay attention though. We'll have to probably type in something like that. And we should be able to sit here AFK crafting Prismarine bricks. We should be able to do the same with just the Prismarine. Once we get a little bit crafted, it'll have to be like this. This is where things get a little bit complicated because we might go back and forth crafting as we gain more and more shards, but it doesn't look like it. Yep. The other thing that we could do is we could just have it set here on craftable, or yeah, craftable, not on all. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going as fast. There we go. we crafted some things down. It's a nice system. I like it. I can craft Prismarine bricks, I can craft Prismarine, I can craft sea lanterns all AFK if I want to. Which is nice. So let's go over a couple of things that we had to do. Originally, I had 4 chests of each, and I had the droppers in the floor here next to the crafting table, and I was powering the crafting table and dispensing items that way. That worked out really, really nice for us, but I needed another set above my head. We tried to do like 1 dropper for Prismarine shards and 2 droppers for Prismarine crystals. That, of course, wasn't fast enough. And essentially what we had to do is we had to go with the crafting recipe for the Prismarine or the sea lanterns. And I've got myself 4 droppers for Prismarine shards and 5 for Prismarine crystals. So these are our Prismarine crystals. These are our Prismarine shards. The other issue that we were running into was the powering of the droppers and not powering the hoppers that are feeding the droppers. So that is why we've gone with this system. I have this lamp here. The lamps were just for audio or visual notification that this was going on. And provided we stand directly in the middle of the crafting table, we collect all of the items and we do our thing. Now comes the tricky part. Once we got the items figured out, as far as we might as well just have 4 shards and 5 crystals, the next part was how are we going to lock the system. So I have this redstone circuit right here that is essentially locking the system. I have 2 switches here. One of these feeds a redstone line that goes over and feeds the clocks for the droppers. We could probably slim this down, but it's fine. This works and works great. This will essentially turn off these 2 pistons and the other 2 on that end, turning these shards off because we're always going to be using shards no matter what we craft. This other lever comes down and pushes a piston over to these 5 central repeaters here that come up and unlock these chests, or unlock the hopper rather, this hopper line here, making it to where we can start doing all of our crafting. This is a very, very bulky system, and probably unnecessary. But it does get to be a pain crafting sea lanterns when you are having to grab the Prismarine crystals, the Prismarine shards, and all of the different things. I want it so I can just go underneath my system and sit AFK if I want to. I get something heavy on my shift key, turn on the auto clicker, and bam, bam, bam. It's going to be very, very nice. Now, I can extend this system out a couple more. Like I said, we can add in the mob heads, we can add in the fish. I don't know that I actually want to keep the fish. And the mob heads could even go away, like we have enough guardian heads with all the things that we've been doing. This might be the only system that we set up. I very well may set up 1 more chest line, though, to make this to where it is an even number. So right now, this is the center of the farm, or the auto crafter. An ocean monument is an even number, so I think for visual sake, because this is all going to be hidden underground, for visual sake, I think we want 1 more chest, and I'm probably going to have Prismarine shards here in this chest, and this is going to be the bulk crafter for the dark Prismarine. If we were to wall this off, you know, however we needed to, we could come in here and essentially have a crafting table right here, break this chest, break the chest above it, and just do a bunch of bulk crafting with setting a shulker here of ink sacs. That's the plan. This was my grandmaster plan that I've been working on for a while now, and we've got a concept that's going to work very well. The only downside is from that repeater level all the way up to this glass level. This is 14 blocks. That doesn't seem like a lot, but considering our ocean monument is not that tall, I think what we're going to have to do is figure out exactly where all of this system is going to go, starting with this guy, right? So we couldn't have it to where you walk in and these levers are sat here. Let's say this is the entrance to the ocean monument like so. This would be my doors right here. We could have it where you walk in, close the doors, and then this could lead to a staircase going up. And then turn and go to a platform. Something like that. I don't know. This is where taking our creative vision and putting it into survival is going to come into play. So, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We need to collect a bunch of materials, and we've got the ocean monument gutted, and we have almost everything ready. The Guardian farms themselves need a little bit of work as well. I think I'm going to change the floor, essentially, that the Guardians sit on rather than it being glass panes. I think we're going to change it out for some other stuff and maybe have a little bit better item collection. Now, one thing that I kind of briefed on but really forgot to say in this contraption here that we've built is we do need all 9 of these droppers to be firing. We need to get 9 items in our inventory at a time. I did mention how I tried 2 and 3 droppers and things like that. So that means that we need to have items in all of these chests. So the idea, or the hope rather, is when we're AFK in the Guardian farm, is that the drops coming in will slide through here pretty fast. And considering the fact that we only have space for 23 items in each one of these hoppers, the items will come through and be collected. Now, the other side of that is we're probably going to have to put a loop system in so that items will get looped back around and be collected. Otherwise, I think what's going to end up happening is a bunch of items are going to slide past this thing and never be collected. So with that in mind, because of how fast the Guardian farm is, I think we're going to have to do a loop system and actually set up another couple of item sorters for fish and the mob heads so that they can be dispensed and trashed outside of this system. And maybe we put them even before they get to this collection system. We pull the mob heads and stuff out. So that's just a couple of things to note. If we do not have items in all of these chests and 9 items going into our inventory, we'll actually start getting heavy on like Prismarine shards. Not necessarily the Prismarine crystals, but eventually we'll have a couple of extra stacks of these in our inventory, and that's what we don't want. So, I think I've devised a system that is going to work and work very well. We do have to try to implement it into the world, which is going to be a whole nother project. Well, we did get the Guardian farm kind of fixed up, and for items it works great, for experience not so much. The reason being, the original design by Slack had your experience orbs falling down into this, and then they would actually track to the player through the glass, which was really, really nice. I actually don't even need the campfire anymore, because we put solid ice underneath here, so that when we fire this guy up, the Guardians actually get damaged when they fall down into the Trident Killer themselves. There we go. So it works very well. I guess this would have been the better example to show. So we can sit here AFK with the longsword, and items are flowing kind of back and forth, but they're flowing. So what I did, turn that off, is I put a dropper, and behind that, of course, we have a hopper, and then sitting on the hopper is a minecart hopper, so it collects the items as they get moved around by the pistons here. And then I put a dropper in because if we put a dispenser in, it'll actually place the mob heads. Yep, so that would cause some issues. So we have the droppers here dispensing the items, and then I think we will eventually snag the items, taking them this way to the item collection system. So if you guys remember the trash can system that I have, I've put a dropper in the mushroom farm, but over at the mob farm I had a dispenser. If you guys remember, over there we had that weird witch head looking thing. Turns out it was like over a stack of zombie heads. It was 5 witch heads, 11 spider heads, things like that. So if we put a dispenser in, it's bad. We need to make sure that it's a dropper. That's why I came over here to the mushroom farm, checking on that, to make sure that I didn't have the same mistake, because if I removed this cauldron with lava, there'd be a bunch of mushroom heads sitting there had I used a dispenser. But we do have a working farm now, and our tridents are sitting in the base of it. We have a way that we can collect XP for now. To repair our tools and stuff, we have an area gutted that we can start building our monstrosity of an autocrafter, and I'm really excited to get the project started. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get it done until the next episode. Sometimes these ideas come to me, and conceptually they are a realistic thing, and then practice and building takes time. Working out all of the different flaws and kinks in the system, and then finding out there's more things that I hadn't quite thought about as far as issues that could arise from quote-unquote auto-crafting. It took a little while. It took a couple of hours to sauce out the everything with the auto-crafter. I will say good morning to Pigglesworth here in a moment. So that actually delayed my video, and I'm recording this clip the day that it should go out, which is going to be Thursday. So we got some things done, we have an idea, and in the next episode, we are going to build the monstrosity. And then do a bunch of AFKing, and then hopefully a bunch of AFK crafting. The idea and the concept is so cool to me. I'm sure there's other people out there that have done this. I don't know. It was just an idea, and then I did it. So I'm really excited to get that started. But as I said, we are out of video time for today. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the things. It costs nothing, and it helps out a ton, and you guys have been awesome. So, I appreciate it once again for the continued support. If you want to support me in other ways by following me on the different social medias, check the description down below. Links to Twitter, Twitch, Discord are down there. There's also a link to my second channel where I upload the live streams. We haven't done that in a while, I know, but we will be getting back to it soon. There's also a link to Patreon there if that's a thing people are interested in. Also in the description below are all the other Truly Bedrock members' YouTube channels. Be sure to go check them out. Seriously, there's a lot of great stuff going on over there. There's also a link to the Truly Bedrock website and the Truly Bedrock Discord server. Check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.